Welcome to the tutorial for how to make the Sofia mermaid skirt. This pattern is available for purchase at my Etsy shop and immediate download via PDF in an A4 format. If you like this whole dress, you can buy the bundle, or you can just purchase the corset, or you can just do the skirt. As always, if you have any questions, please let me know and let's get started. So you can see I've already cut out my pattern pieces. This is my main fabric. I have one main front that was cut on the fold and two back pieces. You will repeat this for your lining fabric. You can also see I have marked my darts. To sew these darts, we are just going to fold them in on each other and then sew them down in place. You will do this with each of your fabrics. You should have 2 darts on your front skirt and 1 on each back, and repeat this for your lining. Once I have all of my darts sewn down, it will look like this. I'm going to take one of my back side pieces and match it with my front with the right sides facing. I'm going to pin all the way down the side and sew this up. I'll repeat this for the second side, and then I will repeat both of those steps for my lining. So after I'm done with this, I will have a new skirt piece with my main fabric and with my lining. It will look like this. Now mine is kind of bunched up so it fits on camera, but this is the full skirt piece with my main fabric. From here I'm going to attach my lining. So you can see I'm taking my lining, and with right sides together I'm going to match up the ends and also all of my darts and my seams so that everything is perfectly matching before we sew this down into place. You can see I use a ton of clips. You can also use pins. I do this just to make sure that nothing is getting off while I'm sewing. Now that my main fabric and my lining are attached, I'm just going to top stitch that waist part. I'm going to do this throughout the entire skirt, leaving about an inch off. When I get to the ends, we will go back and fix that once we are done and have our zipper in. Now we're going to move on to inserting our zipper. You can see my lining is out and my main fabric is right side out, and we are going to take our zipper and unzip it. With the zipper unzipped, I am going to take the teeth of the zipper and flip it so it's not facing the center back, it's not facing my opening, and then I'm going to pin it in place, making sure everything is straight and aligned, and I'm starting at the very top. When I get to the bottom, I leave a little bit of the tail out. This will help you when you have to sew up the bottom, so when we get to the tail, we'll leave a tiny bit out. Before we move on to the other side, I just do this little step to make sure that everything is aligned and my zipper goes in straight. So I'm going to zip up my zipper. Once this is zipped up, I'm going to grab my chalk and I'm going to line up my other side of my skirt and make a mark. This will help when it's unzipped, and I'm doing the same thing that we did before, flipping the teeth to the other side, and I'm going to make sure my mark that I just did with my chalk that's on my zipper and that's on my fabric are matching. This will help make sure that the zipper is aligned and zips up straight and correctly. Once everything is pinned down, we will sew into place just like we did the other side, leaving a bit of the tail out. And before you move on, I suggest zipping up your zipper, making sure everything looks correct before you close up that bottom. Now that I know my zipper is on correct, I'm going to finish off that center seam. To do this, I'm going to flip it inside out, and then I'm going to pin all the way down to the bottom of the skirt. When I sew this, I'm going to make sure that I pull those tails up and I get right up to where that zipper seam ends to make sure that there's no holes and it's just one continuous stitch line. Now we're going to move on to attaching our lining. As you can see, I'm starting how we did before. Everything is right sides out, but our lining is outside of our main fabric skirt. I'm going to take my lining and put it up and over where the raw edge of my lining meets the end of that zipper, and by the end I mean not the teeth side. The teeth side will still be facing away from your center back. The right sides of your lining will be meeting your zipper, so we are sewing right sides together. We will pin this in place, and once everything is pinned in place, we will sew. I also went ahead and I'm doing my opposite side as well. Once I have both of these pinned, I will sew into place. Similar to when we did our main fabric and we left the tails out of the zipper, we will sew not all the way down. We'll leave a little bit of space so that we can sew down that center seam. So I'm doing the same thing we did with our main fabric. My skirt is inside out, and I'm now going to pin and then sew down that center seam all the way down to the bottom of my skirt to close up the lining. Now, if you remember when we stopped that top stitch just a little bit short, we are going to finish that off. I'm putting my presser foot down and I'm starting right where I left off that last stitch, and I'm sewing all the way to my zipper teeth. My zipper is plastic, so you can sew through it. When I get to the end, I will do a small back stitch and close off that top stitch and repeat for the other side. Once that zipper and the top stitch are done, you are almost done with your mermaid skirt. All that is left is to hem the bottom. You have a couple different options. You can just do a rolled hem for the main fabric and then separately for the lining so that they are not attached. I chose to attach my main fabric and my lining, so what I am doing is a rolled hem that conceals the lining. You can see that here. Once everything is in place, I will sew down and then press lightly. And that is the end of your mermaid skirt. I hope you love your new design. Please let me know if you have any questions and follow along if you want to see the latest pattern release.